Tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is brought to you by our friends at Fangoria Magazine. That's right, the first name in fright since 1979 is now an affiliate of America's Hometown Horror. And because of that, we can now offer you an exclusive 20% discount on any first-time magazine subscription or merchandise purchase by heading over to shop.fangoria.com and using the code HometownHorrorPod at checkout. That's shop.fangoria.com/HometownHorrorPod, or just use the code HometownHorrorPod at checkout for that exclusive discount on anything from Fangoria. Tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is also brought to you by our friends at Horror Facts Magazine. Never heard of Horror Facts Magazine? Well, if you're a horror fan, they're a name that you absolutely should know. You can find them over at horrorfacts.com, and they're a great resource for all things horror, including news, reviews, editorials, and lots of other horror podcasts, not only limited to, but including America's Hometown Horror. So head on over to horrorfacts.com and check them out. Last but certainly not least, if you want to support America's Hometown Horror directly, I would highly recommend you get yourself some tickets to the Hometown Haunts and Hops Horror Convention, which will be taking place at Mayflower Brewing Company in lovely Plymouth, Massachusetts for the first time on October 28th of this year. Yes, that's right, folks, the Saturday before Halloween. We're partnering with our friends over at Nightbreed to put this event on, and you can buy yourself some tickets by going to inebriart.com, go to their events page, pull up their October calendar, and get yourself some $5 tickets to the Hometown Haunts and Hops Horror Convention, which is now sponsored by HalloweenNewEngland.com. HalloweenNewEngland.com is the website for the truly Halloween-obsessed, with the most extensive guides to New England haunted houses, ghost tours, classic horror film screenings, jack-o'-lantern festivals, haunted hayrides, and more. They've got all the thrills covered throughout September and October. With over 2,500 Halloween events on their events calendar and hundreds of local Halloween attractions, it's the only place you'll find everything from haunted history tours and costume contests to witch haunts are open on a Thursday night. No matter what you're looking for this Halloween season, HalloweenNewEngland.com has you covered, and we are thrilled to be partnering with them. Now, let's get on with the show. Hello, good evening, and welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. My name is Mike. I will be your host this evening.
Not the only host.
Not the only host. I have other hosts with me, which I will get to shortly here, but if you've listened to the beginning of our new episode, you know we have new music, a new ad read, Who Dis. This is all courtesy of our buddy Sean O'Laughlin at Skywheel Media, and if you have a podcast that you're looking to take to the next level in terms of audio production, get in touch with us. We can put you in touch with Skywheel Media. They will have a website available soon. But for the meantime, just drop us a line. We'll put you in touch with Shano, and you can sound as good and as vibrant as we have over the last couple of weeks. So thanks again to Shano for our new intro music, our new ad reads, and everything in between. Here's where you can find us on the interwebs if you're so interested in those sorts of things. First place is our website, ahpod.com. That's ahhpod.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or should I say X, Threads, Instagram. Just search for America's Hometown Horror. You will find us. And you can also drop us a line at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. All right. Now that I have that out of the way, it's as good of a time as any to introduce my fellow co-hosts. The whole crew is back here this evening after Matt had last week off. Matt, Andrew, Kat, lady, gentlemen, hello.
The fuck is Threads?
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi, hello. Threads is
Threads. Good, how are you?
Wasn't that the movie you just did your
yeah,
That's what I was looking at. What?
not Threads the movie. Threads apparently is not apparently it is Instagram and Facebook. So Zuckerberg created an alternative to Twitter, which essentially it's the exact same thing. It's just a different platform because I know a lot of people are leaving Twitter in droves to get off that nightmare. It's not even called Twitter anymore. It's called
I got
X.
off Twitter. I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely super weird now.
It got
I
by-
barely
got
use
by
it
Mark
anymore,
Zuckerberg,
but
right?
Facebook owns it. Always has owned Instagram, and now they, by the transitive property, also own Threads, which is their new Twitter. So a lot of people are jumping to that. I think there's another platform people are using too, but I can't keep up with all the shifts in streaming services and social media platforms. I only have so much time in my day, and I can only devote it to the things that are important to me.
Yeah.
Social media, of which is not one. But guys, good to have the whole crew back here tonight. How's everybody doing? What's going on?
Good.
Never been better.
You know,
Never been better.
Well,
each
I don't
day
know about that.
better
Well,
than the next.
I was going to say, I'm not quite sure. if you're better than
my hand is something out of a horror movie right now.
Yeah, consider you got stung by at
wasps.
least 3 wasps.
And now it looks like I have like a cover over my hand.
The claw.
Like a
I thought when Andrew
of my own hand
whooped that thing out when I got here, I thought he got bit by a rattlesnake.
It kind of looks like that. I'm not gonna lie.
You're gonna post it on
Like
the America's Hometown.
What's that
Horror
movie?
page.
The campaign with Will Ferrell.
Oh yeah,
Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell gets bit by a snake. But now that you put your arm up like that, I was just saying before we started, you look like Michael Rooker's character in Slither when he like starts to like wrap his arm around the lady before he leaves. And what's his name? Nathan Fillion.
Oh yeah, yep.
He's like, what the fuck was that?
What the fuck? It was just me.
Yeah,
I was the stand-in for that.
Andrew got stung by a couple of wasps the other day, so that was an eventful thing.
Trace.
3 wasps.
Yeah,
looks like I'm wearing Honus Wagner's baseball glove right now.
Safe to say, before Andrew got stung by these wasps, I think I got you officially hooked on Radio Rental, by the way. So you're the last out of all of us.
That was
to get
very
hooked.
good.
Yeah,
I'm almost all the way through.
Are you?
I'm on episode like 7, starting from like 60.
Okay,
So
perfect. Andrew and I went golfing, and we moved everything out of our workshop the other day. So Andrew and I were in the car quite a bit over the weekend together. And I was like, you know what?
Guys.
You're going to be in my car. I'm going to get you hooked on this podcast. So I played like select stories from the first like 15 episodes. And I think
They're creepy as fuck.
You're on board. Yeah.
Very creepy. I mean, they could be fake, but I don't care. Even if they are fake, they're fucking horrifying stories.
I know.
some of them are kind of like
The music is awesome.
Like there's some that it's like they call the cops like if someone's in their house, then it's like their like brother coming home from like a party. You're like, Jesus Christ! Like
Some of them
he
are
didn't
weird.
exact all the options that could have like you know what I mean. Like
I guess either they're
turn your brain.
they're exaggerated stories or they speak to just the abject fear you feel when there's somebody in your house and you're not quite sure who it is when there's no one that's supposed to be there.
That one with the couple from New York where she is dressed all in this weird clothing when he sees her like the next day, and then she like basically freaks the fuck out on him.
Oh, the
And
doppelganger
breaks
one.
up with her, goes upstairs, gets all her shit out, and then leaves. And then as soon as she gets in the cab and leaves, his girlfriend, who just left in the cab, but his apparently other girlfriend is the same person, comes up and hugs him from behind. And then yet all the stuff is still missing from the apartment. All the camera footage shows someone going up there. It's a fucking wild story.
I didn't.
Okay,
hear
so
that one.
yeah, I would say dude.
I thought
it's,
that was like episode 14. No,
it's like one of the first 3 episodes, and it
okay.
might objectively be the creepiest story told in the entire thing because it's just like that's what I love about Radio Rentals, that it's not all ghost stories, but there's a lot of serial killer stuff. I've said this before, but there's like a few like glitch in the matrix stories, which are just strange.
I listened to one of those this morning.
Yeah,
where a guy and his girlfriend go to watch a movie and then they like both wake up.
I know the one you're
naked on
talking
his
about.
bed.
Yep, and like just several
Out of nowhere.
hours just
yeah.
gone like that. That's a creepy one too. But yeah, it's a creepy podcast. There are a lot of creepy stories, and he pulls. I mean, I'll give him some credit. Payne Lindsay, the guy that's doing this, so he basically finds these stories on Reddit, contacts the people that post the stories on this Reddit thread, and then interviews them, the actual people. He doesn't just retell the story. So it's actually coming from the mouth of people that have written these stories. So a lot of them are very believable.
Yeah.
Some of them maybe not so much, but yeah, there's just some weird shit on there. If you like strange and creepy stories, it's the podcast for you. So I'm glad that all 4 of us are finally hooked on this podcast now that I've recommended it 15,000 times.
There's been a few that really, really, really fucking creep me out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would say the one that Andrew just talked about he didn't completely spoil it for you, but like,
I was like, I haven't.
that one stuck with me big time. And then the one with the guy that went home with the girl from the bar. That's
I
all
just
I'll
listened to
say.
that one the other day.
That one
too.
stuck
That
with me
was
big
weird.
time. That was a really creepy one. It's just like, it's not like sometimes real world shit is scarier than actual I thought I might have heard a ghost, but like these types, it's like really
The
weird.
sex trafficking
like,
ones are like nauseating.
yeah, those are very strange. Like there's a lot of them in there that have a really
But if you put
really
yourself in that situation, in that
aspect.
moment in time, and that's you, that'd be the most horrifying thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
My favorite
fucking
one was
done.
the one when the guy heard the guy outside his like motel room getting beaten to death in Nashville.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, that was
fucked, dude. That really, and I was coming from here
Mm-hmm.
a few weeks ago, at like probably like 9:45 at night, driving through like the woods in Middleborough, and I was like,
long time ago.
Yeah.
The baseline killer one, that one was creepy as fuck.
That was very creepy.
Yeah, some good.
I'd never heard about that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a few serial killers they detail on here that you've probably never heard of, and they're actually true stories. So yeah, I would say, Andrew, keep going with Radiant Rental, man. See what you think. But
and they're nice and quick. You can rip through the story.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So if you fast forward through all the goofy bullshit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I honestly the weakest part of the whole show is Rainn Wilson. I mean, I know that's a lot of people like that stuff. I just skip right to the stories. Yeah. That's what I want to hear. But anyway, guys, speaking of weird stuff, have you been following any of this congressional testimonies regarding extraterrestrials?
No.
I brought that up to Sarah the other day.
Literally sounds like the plot of Independence Day.
It's insane.
Okay.
It is insane.
I haven't seen any of it.
So basically, what the story is, there's a guy that testified to Congress the other day, earlier this week, that basically said I think he was an officer in either the Navy or the Air Force, that not only does the government have extraterrestrial bodies, like organic organisms, have had them for several decades, and have had alien spacecraft that they've been trying to reverse engineer for decades. So pretty much confirming, if you believe this guy,
Area 51,
Area 51, and Bob Lazar, and any alien conspiracy theory that's been put out there.
You guys like Bob Lazar?
Everything the X-Files was saying, like for the last few decades, it's crazy, crazy shit, and it's mind blowing to me that more people aren't paying attention to this. I feel like it's willful ignorance. This is like, you need to read this story.
They obviously put it out there to take our eyes off of the Biden shit going on. But at the same point in time, you need to pay attention.
Interesting theory.
Also,
yeah,
that's a fact. That's what they always do. They always do. But they also should also be paying attention to it because it's fucking wild and
scary.
I'm not surprised.
Talk about scary stuff. That's scary stuff.
I've gone down a little bit of a wormhole with some of those, and it gets even more wild.
Did you say a wormhole?
A wormhole.
He's reacting. He has a reaction right now, so he's a little. His speech is a little slurred too. He was saying it was ET-ness.
That's okay. I'm busting his balls.
Have you guys ever heard the Area 51 phone call that got called into a radio station?
We've talked about this before.
I think I have brought it up.
Coast to coast.
Incredibly creepy. Yeah.
So, and then the whole radio tower got shut down as he was like going in on it. And like, not even a call, like they just like dropped the whole broadcast.
Mm-hmm. Radio silence.
And they probably replaced that guy with a clone of himself now. It's not even the same dude.
Yeah,
guys probably get rid of you. You're gone.
I think he was living in an RV in like the desert. Like just fucking like he was out of his mind.
We got the spooky hound dog heard from here.
He doesn't like this topic.
Yeah, he's a little afraid.
It's my friends. I'm from.
Or scratching his ear, and he's feeling good.
So, okay. Now, the funny thing to me is that there's all this shit going on. The same thing, I said it to Sarah. I was like, it's unbelievable that like they're basically saying like, yes, aliens have existed this whole time. You all right, and like no one gives a fuck.
I feel like it's everyone. Strange. I feel like most people at this point in their life, at this stage in time, if you didn't believe in aliens,
it doesn't really surprise me.
Within like the last like, I mean, when was all that shit released? Like the videos for like the Pentagon and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, Trump declassified.
Yeah, that was like a few years ago. And even before that, like if you don't believe in that stuff, you're a fucking idiot. And I don't care what you have to say.
It's just the universe is huge.
I think literally until the plot of Independence Day happens and alien spaceships come over major cities and start blowing shit up, people aren't going to care. Because I think you're right. There's probably people that think it's going to happen.
Like I was saying,
or think they exist.
I'm going on vacation.
So I'm going to get real quick with this. And I'm not going to delve into it.
I don't want to be worried about
but
aliens.
It was an interesting, weird wormhole.
Yep.
That I went down, and yes, alien spacecrafts have been along for this long because basically what this guy said was that human trafficking is a result of us feeding the aliens because they like to bathe in our DNA to last longer because the gray aliens, they can't live as long unless they bathe in like our fluids. And they prefer milkshakes. Wow. They prefer us as milkshakes, which brings me to
under the skin.
Yes, I was like, interesting.
Oh man.
Okay.
We got real weird the other night. We were talking about this under the influence.
This is what this fucking dude said.
A lot of THC.
This is a different guy. This is a guy that.
Or this is in your wormhole.
In my wormhole. He was on a YouTube interview. He's one of the guys that was on Ancient Aliens. The guy with like the blonde. No, not that guy. The guy with like the blonde hair, kind of looks mousy.
Sure.
So he's one of those guys.
I guess
one of the guys.
Yeah.
So take what he says with a grain of salt because it sounds insane, but I wouldn't put it past any of this.
I mean, is he any different than any of the people that 40 years ago or 50 years ago were saying that aliens landed in Roswell and the government was covering it up because it's pretty much that happened.
And then all those people just got.
Obviously, there are a lot of kooks out there, but I mean, shit, you never know who's telling the truth and who's telling a bunch of bullshit.
Damn, dude, this reminds me of that movie Conspiracy. Now,
I'm telling you, man, you gotta fucking pay attention to this shit. It's just an interesting story and crazy shit. But anyway,
I'll start paying.
You should. You
that guy
absolutely
clearly
should.
wasn't lying.
Speaking of back to non-serious things. So obviously we talked last week about Andrew seeing Oppenheimer. None of us have seen Barbie, correct yet? I know I have not.
Not
Kat
yet.
has not. Matt, you haven't either.
No.
Did you see Oppenheimer yet?
I was supposed to. I
know,
have
I know.
not got a chance.
We talked about the fact that you got screwed out of seeing it because you had to work. But
Yeah.
in addition to Barbie and Oppenheimer still dominating the box office, A24's latest horror movie, Talk to Me, still managed to make over $10 million its opening weekend, which was far above expectations.
When are we going to go see that?
I really want to see it, but I'm trying to withhold my expectations. I know we talked about this in the group chat because typically every movie that gets hyped up beyond belief, which this movie is,
Mhm.
I don't want to be like disappointed and let down. So I literally know nothing about the plot.
Yeah.
I know it's doing very well. I know the reviews are great, but I don't know anything about it. So
be
I want to
fair,
see it.
I've not seen a single bad review
Okay.
throughout multiple horror groups on Facebook, and trust me, dude, people are fucking insufferable
That's true.
in some of those.
Yeah, we're in a couple of the same ones on Facebook.
The Shutter horror one.
Shutter one.
I got
Yep.
chewed to bits in that group one day because I fucking roasted Megan. I was like, this movie sucks. And people were like ready to fucking crucify me.
Oh, that's
It was unbelievable that I was
People
like, what
get
the
so
fuck
mad.
is
Like, you
going on?
can't have an opinion.
People were like, it was so funny. People were defending me and everything. And I was just like, all right, yeah, go for it. I'm not going
cool.
to fucking do
Yeah,
it. But
just stir the pot and let people just fucking go.
that other Fangoria one, that a lot of people are talking about it in that one too. That one's a much more fucking cool comic collection.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say but Talk to Me, obviously on the cover of Fangoria, the
Yeah.
most recent issue. So it's getting a lot of pub, a lot of hype. I can't wait to see it personally. I just hope I'm not let down. I know that they're already talking about these two. I guess it's two twin brothers,
Two brothers.
Australian guys. They're already talking about like what their next project is going to be.
Couple
So-
blokes.
Like it.
Couple
I just hope that
blokes.
the Annie Lennox song, "Here Comes the Rain Again's in there. 'Cause
Yes.
Talk to me
Like
like lovers do. Anyway, I want to see it. That was it.
What were you
I was
saying?
gonna say Australians are wild, so they probably make a pretty wild movie.
Cool.
They are wild.
Okay.
They like Vegemite sandwiches. Like what the fuck? I don't know.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Never had Vegemite. Never had
From
mine.
the-
I've had Vegemite.
Have you?
Yes.
Men at Work
Power.
song. Men at Work song.
I come from a
You
land
speak of my
down under.
language.
What did you
Oh, okay.
What
Vegemite
did you
sandwich.
think of Vegemite?
I know what a Vegemite
It
is.
kind of tasted like a beef bouillon.
Isn't it like
kind of thing.
molasses,
Ugh.
kind of like just a
No,
brown?
it was
What?
a weird. Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know.
Is it like a?
It's
Is
like
it a
it's like a
condiment?
thick paste.
It's
Basically.
like a vegetable
I'll-
extract, I believe.
It looks
I'll
like
look up-
it
hold
looks
on.
disgusting.
I'll look up what it is, but it wasn't bad. But like Kate, so I used to work with a girl from Australia, and she
That's
actually
right.
her
Yeah.
family would send her over Vegemite because she can't get it here. So they'd mail it from Australia in like boxes,
Wow.
and she'd have literally for lunch
Yeah.
Vegemite sandwiches.
That's
Well-
it, just like nothing else.
So I've
No,
heard,
well,
no
no, I
offense
mean,
to our
she'd have-
Australian
she'd eat other
listeners, that
things.
it's gross. If you're
That
in America,
sounds
I don't know.
disgusting.
I mean, it sounds like one of those things that like
It looks gross.
because I've heard that people outside of
So-
America hate peanut butter.
So,
I love peanut butter.
Well, that's
well,
insane.
actually, so no, because when I went to Ireland, my friend Jen that I went to
Hates
Ireland
peanut
with,
butter?
no. So we were at a pub one night, and like this guy was like, "Oh, what do you guys miss about like from back home?" And I was like, "Nothing. I'm having a blast." And then like my friend Jen's like, "I can't find peanut butter anywhere," and he's like, "Peanut butter?" He goes, "Oh, we don't sell peanut butter around here. That's for feeding the anorexic girls." And I
To
was
make 'em
like,
fat.
"Oh my god, what
That's
are
for
you
Jaws or some
talking
Shake
about?"
Shack.
I
I mean,
was
it
like,
is it is like
That is a
But
weird thing though to be on
can't
vacation.
find peanut butter there
Yeah.
at all.
But
in
it's
Ireland.
weird that you're that
Anyway,
obsessed with peanut butter because,
she-
like, I could go months without eating.
Oh
peanut
no,
butter.
no. She
No,
would
I
have,
can't.
Shocked. I eat peanut butter crackers every fucking
I-
day.
I can't go
that's-
weeks
yeah.
Would you
without
eat the
eating
cheese
peanut butter.
ones just the same?
Oh,
Those
I
are
love
the
No,
cheese
but
better
you know what?
than
I bought
peanut
them fucking 3 boxes of them by accident the other day.
I love the
They're
cheese
on
ones.
sale.
They're so
they
good.
fucking suck.
Late night peanut butter, by the way, quick way to put on weight. Absolutely
Oh, yeah.
true.
Like
I mean,
peanut butter.
I remember reading that Jared Leto, when he was playing Mark Chapman, who killed John Lennon in that movie that he was in, that probably was overhyped about his method acting. When he wanted to put on like 30 or 40 pounds, he used to just put a bunch of peanut butter and like a pint of ice cream and microwave it and just slug it
Oh,
down.
that
Oh my
sounds
God.
delicious.
Sounds delicious
Have you ever
and
melted peanut
disgusting.
butter and put it
Oh,
in
I
your
melt
mouth?
peanut butter, put it on vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
all
No,
the
no,
time.
no. Not only melted the peanut butter, but melted the
Yeah,
ice
he was
cream
just
too,
drinking
and then
Yeah.
just
shake.
I
chugged it.
mean,
That's
like- that's like putting-
because you can do 3 of those.
That's like putting a
I
cup of peanut butter and like a pint of Ben and Jerry's, melting the whole thing, and then just
It's
slugging it
almost
down,
like if
and
you-
then going right
if
to
you
bed.
have
Yeah.
if you have a white hot chocolate,
Always
with
gotta go
melted
right to
peanut butter, like a peanut butter white hot chocolate.
Listen, I don't need to be talked into anything peanut butter because I fucking love it.
Okay.
You're
I
not drinking
love
it in
peanut butter.
7 seconds.
Vegemite is a thick dark brown, Australian food spread made from leftover brewer's yeast extract with various vegetable and spice additives.
Sounds
Oh, dude,
disgusting,
brewer's yeast
right?
So
leftovers
that's why it tasted like
rules.
bouillon. It's
Well,
like it's like that kind of
It's just
texture.
a
too. It's-
fermented.
It does not sound good to
disgusting.
me, but I've never
It's-
tried it,
it's
so I can't
brown.
hate
It
on it. I
looks-
mean, I would certainly try it and see what the hype's all about.
Yeah, I'd take a bite.
Yeah, of
We
course.
should do that live on the podcast.
It's
when I
not-
say-
it's
we
not
all eat a
bad.
Vegemite sandwich and drink
I'll tell you what, if
first.
we're ever talking about an Australian horror movie, we should get some Vegemite shipped in and we should try it live.
Yeah, if you
It's
talk
not-
to me.
And no,
It's not
actually, you
bad.
just have to eat
How
a
about that?
spoonful.
You only-
Everyone has to
you-
eat a spoonful.
No. You only spread you spread it
Put it
on
on like a
toast.
Ritz
You don't
cracker.
you
Yeah.
don't like actually
mean,
have like you
can I
don't
put it on
smear it on
5
like
Ritz
peanut butter.
crackers?
You just put like a spread
thin-
of it,
a
like
thin layer.
layer
Yeah.
of it on
All right.
bread.
All right, so let's talk to me in Australian talk about Vegemite. But also in adjacent news, in addition to Talk to Me making $10 million, Disney's The Haunted Mansion movie made $33 million worldwide.
I heard
this opening
good reviews
weekend.
about that too.
I heard it was okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bust for
It's a
that
good
movie,
look.
though?
It's well, the budget.
Well, for Disney.
I think the budget was about $150 million, so it's a bust for opening weekend. But that's what you get for opening
How do they
movies
spend
against
that?
Oppenheimer and Barbie.
I'm just confused why those movies have to spend so much money because they're fucking just
Disney.
CGI.
It's
And
Disney.
they overpay
Disney
the
has
actors.
to pay
Oh
all
yeah,
that
the CGI is expensive.
I mean, I would say if you look at the trailers and the commercials for Haunted Mansion, it doesn't look cheap. It doesn't look
Wild
cheaply
cast,
made.
dude.
The
Rosario
cast?
Dawson,
Yeah.
Dude, Danny DeVito, Keith
I feel
Stanfield.
like they almost have to make it look
Got the guy from,
bad, though, in a weird way.
what's that show?
I don't know.
Schitt's Creek.
Oh, Dan
Oh.
Levy?
Yeah,
He's in
I
it.
didn't know.
yeah,
I didn't know he was.
yeah.
in
I
it.
love
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, he's.
I mean, I'll definitely check it out when it comes to Disney Plus. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get to the movies much anymore because baby. But if I'm going to go to the movies right now, I'm going to see Oppenheimer.
You're not gonna go see the Haunted Mansion.
I mean, I'm
No,
going to see Oppenheimer
obviously.
first, and then probably I would see Talk to Me after that, and then
Yeah.
it would be Haunted Mansion, and then probably. I mean, I probably will see Barbie at some point because I've heard it's pretty good. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so that's box office stuff, guys. The premier haunted attraction event in the country revealed their full lineup this past week. Would you like to hear about it? That would be
Yes.
Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando at Universal Orlando Resort. Listen to this stacked lineup. I think all of us will be pretty intrigued by this. You know, Kat and I have been to this event twice. I would go every year if I could afford it, but it's incredibly expensive. Yes, go ahead.
Aren't they investing in some new Universal collab thing? One of the houses this year. Did I see that in the news?
Who?
Halloween Horror Nights. They're making a house on something new that's coming out.
Well, yes, there's a few things. I'm going to get to that,
Okay.
but they're doing a new theme park as well, Universal in Orlando. But so basically, we talked about a couple
A
weeks.
horror theme park?
Not a horror theme park, but one of the
I
sections.
was like,
of the
that
new
would have
theme
been
park.
cool. I was
One
like,
of the
that's a
sections
Great idea.
of the new theme park is going to be strictly based on the Universal monsters. It's going to be 6 or 7 lands. So there's going to be a horror themed land in this new theme park, in addition to like another Harry Potter thing and a Super Mario World thing. And all
That's
kinds
gonna
of
be
stuff.
cool. Oh,
But
my God.
so we talked about a couple weeks ago. They're doing a haunted house based on Stranger Things season 4. That's already been announced. That's already out there. In addition to that, they announced over the past week that they're going to do a haunted house based on the new Exorcist movie, The Exorcist Believer. So you have that in there. They're doing a haunted house based on Chucky. They're doing a haunted house based on The Last of Us. And they're doing a Universal Monsters house that's going to be set in the catacombs of Paris, which is going to feature the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and the Invisible Man, plus 5 other original haunted houses, original concepts, some of which are based around Yetis in a campground, satanic death cults, a freaky carnival, and there's a few other ones as well. So I love this event. I love following it. I mean, I have a poster of it on the wall right here where we record. I know people listening can't see it right now. I think it's the best.
It looks pretty cool.
It's very expensive. You got to spend some money to go there, but
Yeah,
it's
I
the
bet.
best haunted
Well,
haunted
if you're
attraction
not
event in the
going
country.
for more than like 2 or 3 nights, you have to get the fast pass.
So would
which
you go
costs even
2022?
more.
We went in 2011 and 2012.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 years that we went. It was right when Kat and I first started dating. The first vacation that we ever took was going to Universal Orlando to go to Halloween Horror Nights in the theme parks.
We had so much fun.
A lot
You
of fun.
didn't go in
Great time.
92.
We didn't go in 92.
I thought that's when it started. 'cause
No,
the
the
No, well, that's when
92.
that's when it started. I bought it because it's a retro poster
You
that
bought
they were
it?
selling on.
Did you just say that?
I didn't say bought it. I said bought it. It's when I bought it
I
because
thought
it's
you
a
bought
retro
it.
poster.
Oh, you
Um,
said something wrong. Nice.
Yeah, so if you're a
fan,
fan of horror movies and haunted attractions, it's something you need to at least experience once. And I mean, this is a really, really good year. Stranger Things, Last of Us, Chucky. If you like Chucky, I know Matt, you're a Chucky fan.
Yep.
Universal Monsters are my jam every single time. And I mean,
You're not a Chucky fan.
I like the Chucky.
He loves
I thought you
Chucky.
said you
Yeah.
hated Chucky.
No.
no,
Who's
no.
that? Is that you?
yeah,
I've just never really been a huge fan. It's not my.
For
It's
some
not my
reason, I thought
jam.
you didn't like Chucky.
I don't mind Chucky.
I,
And then-
they're fine.
I mean, say what you will about the new Exorcist movie, but that's going to be featured there as well. And the honestly, the original houses are always the best ones anyway. I mean, those
The
were
Yeti one?
yeah.
What did you
the
guys
Yeti
think of
ones.
that trailer? I know you guys probably talked about last week.
I thought it was okay.
It was
I thought it was
interesting.
just fine.
It looked like it could be good. It also looked like it could be bad because all those trailers I think look the same.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe this is good, and then I'm like, I don't know. Has it been reviewed yet or no?
No,
No, has that
not
been
yet.
seen by
No,
anybody?
I know. It was going back for some reshoots because there were some issues with, or it was reported that there were issues with the story and stuff like that. So it was going back for reshoots. But they're out with a trailer now. They're going to do a haunted house based on it before the movie even is released, because Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando starts the first weekend in August and runs through November.
Oh, really?
So
Jesus.
the haunted house is going to be open for a full almost 2 months before the movie is released.
Yeah, 'cause that's October, right?
So they have to have. I think it's released October 13th, maybe. But they have to have some sort of level of confidence in this movie if they're going to be doing
Or
that.
they're just going to be like,
or
people are
they're
gonna go anyway.
well. So
That's
here's the
also
thing:
true.
they're
That's
also
also
making
the
the
thing.
money on the hype of it
True.
because no one's
True,
seen it to know
true.
that it's shit yet. So they're gonna be like, "This is sick." And they're gonna go and they're gonna see the movie. This place sucks. Well, we already got our money, so go
Yeah,
fuck yourself.
That's also right. That's
Yeah,
also the thing.
that's the Mickey Mouse
Yeah.
way, dude.
Well, I like to report on this
Mickey
news because
Mouse way.
I love Halloween Horror Nights. I think it's great. Andrew, if I were you, you're not tied down with a girl. I would go every October. If I were you, my
To be
friend.
completely honest, this sounds awesome, but I would feel like the biggest weirdo
Why?
going to this by myself. I just feel like I'd be like one of those weird, like, who's this old guy just like walking around?
Andrew, do you know the type of people that
Carl
go to
Havoc.
this? Carl Havoc.
They're probably
There you go.
similar.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm telling you, you got to go at least once if you're a horror fan. It's an awesome experience. Not only do you
Sounds
get
like a
haunted
blast.
houses, but you get scare zones, you get themed food, you get themed bars, everything. It's a really cool event to go to. And if you're a lover of Halloween, you got to at least check it out once. Otis agrees as he runs around like a crazy person.
Knock the chair over. with all
Thanks so
the
much,
beer
buddy.
cans on it.
That's great. Hey, buddy, what's going on? You got anything to contribute? No? Good. All right, cool. Anyway, last piece of news here before we take a little break and go through our watch lifts. Watch lifts.
Wow, you're
Ah.
just oh,
Jesus
really having a
Christ.
problem.
Well, sometimes we can't, when you talk a lot, it's hard to.
That's true.
Say
Sometimes you
it
slip over your own tongue, like right now, and I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so forgive me. Rest in peace to Paul Rubens, best known for playing Pee Wee Herman. Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, one of the movies, has a scene that scared the absolute shit out of me when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Yep.
The large Marge scene. I didn't realize he was 70 years old and was battling privately with
Yeah.
cancer, which stinks. So
Did it say
rest
what
in
kind of
peace.
cancer he had?
Didn't
No.
say. I didn't
No.
say anything about that. So
I'm
rest
just
in
curious.
peace to Paul Rubens. Also played a great role in Blow with Johnny Depp.
Mhm.
He's been in a bunch of other shit, but yeah, unfortunately, he passed away. And then even possibly more tragic. I mean, Kat, I know you know this guy more than I, because I've never seen an episode of Euphoria. Angus Cloud, who
Oh, he
played,
was
I guess,
so good.
Fesco in
He was
Euphoria.
Fez, yeah.
25 years
Yeah.
old.
It's so
I didn't watch
sad.
that
He was
show.
a great actor in that show.
Where did
Yeah.
he die from?
I guess he was plucked off the street. He's not a professionally trained actor. He was a waiter before that. But unfortunately, I guess his father passed away a couple of weeks ago, and it's pretty much implied that he either died of an overdose or ended his own
Suicide,
life.
yeah.
Yeah. Which 25 years old, that's really sad.
Sad.
Brutal.
Sad to hear. And just a reminder, if you're out there and you're having this similar sorts of feelings, there's lots of resources that you can call to try and resolve those feelings, because that's never the right answer to do.
That's sad.
So anyway, yeah, sad news on both accounts. And so rest in peace to Paul Rubens and Angus Cloud.
Very sad.
That's what I got for news. But before we get into our watch list and all that stuff, why don't we take a quick little break here to pay some bills? We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Let's talk about some watch list stuff. I have some stuff I want to talk about. Matt, I know you haven't been here for a couple of weeks, so I'm sure you're probably chomping at the bit.
Has it been 2 weeks?
He hasn't been here in 2 weeks, but he missed one
Oh,
episode.
right.
So
sorry.
I actually only have I just rewatched some stuff. I really don't have anything too crazy.
That's cool.
Wow.
What'd you rewatch?
I rewatched Dawn of the Dead. And
Banger.
The original Dawn of the Dead, the 1978 one. And that's what kind of sparked that whole idea. To be continued. And then what else? I watched Videodrome.
Oh,
I've just been kind of on a
that
Cronenberg
movie.
kick lately, which kind of, I guess, technically
Ties in tonight. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
What else? I watched Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. That's probably going to be
Brutal.
my 5th blog.
Sounds about right.
And then hold on, I had one more, and I was just looking at it. I forgot. Oh, I started rewatching True Detective again.
Oh, that's
Wow.
right. We were talking about that the other night. Yeah.
Yeah, season 1.
When Kat and I were watching October Sky, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so jealous right now."
Yeah, that movie is the fucking.
October Sky is
that show's
awesome.
the fucking book.
October Sky was a very good movie. I'd never seen it before, but True Detective obviously is way better. Cool.
Yeah, I think that was it. That was the last one I was thinking of. So yeah, nothing too crazy. I have been pretty busy. So, yeah, last week obviously I went to the Red Sox game and fucking sat in a rain delay for fucking 2 hours like a dickhead.
Well, at least
The
they
game
won.
went on,
They did win.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I got.
Well, hey, sometimes you don't have time to watch 15,000 horror things, but I mean that's still pretty good. So I only have I think 1 or 2 things we're going to talk about anyway. So, Kat, Andrew, you guys want to talk about what we do in the shadows? I know, Andrew, you've rewatched or you've watched the entire new season since the last time we spoke, and then Kat and I watched an episode or 2, so we're all caught up on this now.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to
Do
go
you
into.
not watch What We Do in the Shadows?
I've seen it here and there. I just haven't been watching any of the new ones. As
I feel like we can talk about it without spoiling it for him because it's not a huge.
No,
thing.
because
It reminds
mostly,
me of
I
Always
never
Sunny.
explain the
Yeah.
plot. It's just random funny parts.
Honestly,
that make the
I
show.
think it's just one of those shows that just continues to get better. I don't really think that there's been a bad season as Otis is just eating my foot, licking my. I don't know. I must
love it.
I must have a salty foot.
I
or something.
100%
He loves
would
salt.
say it's one of those shows that I put on. It's 24 minutes, and I'm pretty much chuckling.
Yeah.
The entire episode.
Yeah.
It's not. None of it's die laughing funny.
It's just
Some
stupid.
of it's really funny, but it's just a steady chuckle,
Yeah.
and it just puts you in a very good mood. And I find it so entertaining.
Yeah.
I think the show fucking rocks.
If I take an edible or if I'm high, I cackle.
Cackle,
cackle.
well, I'm not a
It's
cackler. I'm a
lose
giggler.
my
I'm
mind.
a
Stupid. It's
giggler.
it's funny, but it's
Giggler.
stupid funny.
It's not.
Yeah, it's
I don't even
it's
necessarily
stupid
know that
funny.
I agree with that.
Not
I think
as-
it's very smart funny at certain points, but also very stupid funny at
But
certain points
not
too.
stupid funny. I think you should leave stupid funny.
It's smart.
I think
funny
that's
and
also
well, it's-
smart at certain
So
points
it's smart
too.
funny that aspect that it's extremely well written,
Of course.
but it's stupid funny. It's still It's such a stupid concept.
Of course it is.
So
That's
it's
why
funny.
it's a
in general.
ridiculous concept.
So
I don't know that
that's
it's a
what makes
stupid
it
concept.
funny.
But I think if you
It's it's brilliantly written.
if you like simpler humor, you probably laugh at Nandor more. Or if you like well written, very smart humor, you probably laugh at Laszlo more because he's fucking hysterical. They're both hysterical.
I gotta say this,
and not just great too. They're all Colin Robinson. They're all great. The show's fucking fantastic. I think it's surpassed the movie tenfold at this point. Not even close. Go ahead, Andrew.
Your next Halloween costume needs to be Nandor. Every time I look at Nandor, I think of Mike. I'm like,
Why?
It's you with long hair. It's just because I just don't.
All right.
I don't know.
Are you
what
telling me I
So-
look like Nandor?
Very
grow
similar.
your hair from now until Halloween.
Well, no. I'm gonna purchase a
You'll-
wig. I'm not gonna grow
Nandor,
my hair.
same
No,
beard,
you
same
can do
nose.
it.
I
Mid
feel
to
like
the
if you had long hair,
Man bun. You got a man bun. You gotta learn. See how
and he's your favorite character.
He is my favorite character, but I also
I
love
feel like you could
Laszlo.
just be Nandor.
I mean, if
for
we
Halloween.
all went, we could all do What We Do in the Shadows characters. I could be Nandor, Matt could be Laszlo, you could be
I
Nadja,
don't think-
you could be Colin Robinson.
But then I'd have to shave my head.
Well, you could wear a bald cap. You don't have to shave heads and grow hair. You can make it work. I'm telling you,
Let's
you
be
can make it work.
authentic, though, if we're gonna do it.
God.
Let's be real. We're never going to do this, but it would be a good group costume. You could carry around a doll. You carry on a Nadja doll. You could
You'd
make
have
your
to
own
watch a
Nadja
lot more
doll.
Laszlo, though.
Yeah, I'd have to catch up a little.
Oh, I
That's
feel
fine.
like he could definitely be last.
Yeah,
month.
no, but you just have to
absolutely.
watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be so fun.
One of the reasons I like my
speak
horror,
with the British accent.
I've been watching
Amy.
a lot of Always Sunny. And you guys watched the new Always Sunny?
I've seen the
episodes?
first 2 episodes.
Dude,
I've seen the
funny
whole
as
season.
They're on point right
Yeah.
They're firing on all cylinders this season. I know it's over now, but they were, I think, spot on the entire season.
Dude, like every episode is laugh out loud.
the,
funny.
first episode with the nuts, he's like, I think it's from blowing up the mattresses. No, it's,
Yeah.
I think it's from the nuts. I
He's
think you're
hammering
allergic to
peanuts,
nuts.
dude.
That was so funny. Honestly, I think it's stupid that there's only 8 episodes in the season. That's ridiculous. There should have been way more. Every
They've done
other
so
season
many,
has
like-
15 or 16.
That's
Yeah, but they're
because
probably running out of ideas.
Well, they're probably getting paid more money to do
Yeah.
less episodes and less
I
work.
was
So
gonna
why
say,
wouldn't
they've
you?
negotiated their contract to the
The
point
only
that
the
they're
only
winning.
thing that is incredibly distracting to me is somebody that honestly like watched this show from day one. Like I watched the first season when it was on FX when it premiered. So I've been following this show forever. They all look like they've, except for Charlie and Danny DeVito, they all look like they've had so much plastic surgery.
Oh,
It's the
most
most
likely.
distracting thing. I
Yeah.
can't get past it.
I think I've kind of gotten over it because it's been like that for a few
it's
seasons.
not even necessarily Mac because he gets jacked and unjacked, but he's just ripped now. And like, dude, Dennis and D
Their faces
look like their
just
faces are
too
like
flat.
plastic.
Yeah.
D,
I think they-
D especially.
Yeah.
D especially. Like she clearly has lip injections now.
She keeps going.
Like
She should've-
Dennis
she
is
should have stopped.
unless
Like, she was good.
unless Glenn Howerton is actually trying to like make himself look a little bit more like he's had plastic surgery to commit to Dennis's character. If that's actually what he looks like now, he's becoming Dennis.
Well,
so
you've seen
they
them
should-
on the podcast. They look a little more dumbed down.
Yeah.
Like they definitely
True.
yuck it up for the show.
Because I think they're going to do in like a new season. I don't know if they did this with any other episodes.
Yeah, they've signed on
But
for
it-
18.
an episode.
Yeah, they're
basically
going
where
forever.
they make fun of the fact that they've had plastic
It's
surgery.
gonna happen.
They got to do that.
They have
That's
to.
got to be the next
It
one.
has to.
The
Like, it'd be
episode,
hilarious.
the reverse Dennis system. Did you?
That
guys
was
watch
great.
when it's Mac and he's sit with the guy and he's like, "You want to let him know that you've had maybe a past lover, but don't be too good." It just cuts to Mac. He's like, "I fucked LeBron James, dude. I like spit my drink across my fucking bed, dude. I lost my shit."
That was so good.
Yeah.
I also really liked the bowling alley one. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I really liked the Ricky Rats Chuck E. Cheese ripoff episode.
That was
That
funny
as
fucking
fuck,
cracked
too.
me
Yeah.
up.
And how it's just like all like it's
Yeah.
not PC anymore. And
Yeah,
they're all
yeah.
fucking bummed out.
But the reverse Dennis system one was great. Yeah, that LeBron James line was awesome. That
Very
was
funny.
so fucking.
I'm
funny.
like waiting for that to come up as like a GIF.
yeah. My God.
I want to use this.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right. Where were we? So we're talking about Always Sunny. Who
Where
was
were we?
watching Always
We
Sunny?
were,
I
we
know
were talking
way
about
off the
what we do in
rails.
the shadows.
Yes.
That's right. So who has
We did
something
it as
next
a
for?
theme thing, and so was Cat.
Wait, you have something you want to talk about?
Yes.
For watch list stuff.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
We watched Twister.
We did watch
Because
Twister.
there's a tornado warning.
Well, not even on the night.
Not
that
even the
there
night
was
of the tornado warning,
That
which
was
was a
2 days
whole
before.
different
Damn.
story that we
So-
won't go into right
Oh
now.
my God.
Maybe you
Okay.
guys shouldn't watch anymore now.
Okay. Did you get a tornado warning?
No.
Okay. So we
It was
did.
barely windy in Middleborough.
We did, and I was like, we were all in the basement and playing shuffleboard, and you get this. Everyone's like,
Loud
and you're
as fuck,
just like,
yeah.
oh my God. And then I'm like, do I go up? Do I wake her up? I'm like, oh my God. It was
Dude,
this whole.
Cat
It was
freaked the fuck out.
horrendous.
Yeah.
We all
lost
we
it.
all
Sarah's
it was
mom was
horrendous.
trying to like.
we all
buck her a
looked at it
little
and
bit.
went, cool.
No.
And I put my phone down.
And then
Well, it was like till 9 p.m. and it was like 8:52.
Yeah.
I was like, all
It was,
right,
and it
so
strictly
fucking
said
8 minutes,
Plymouth
dude.
County, not Plymouth. It said
Oh.
Plymouth
Well, when we
Well,
looked
and
on
then-
the Middleborough one, only had a thunderstorm warning.
Yeah,
Plymouth,
I was
we
looking
had a
at
tornado.
I look at
Which
but
I
was
get-
looking
I
at
get
the
it's- it's
radar
scary.
the whole time.
And then you were like, the radar's right over. It's really red. Marshfield's the direction.
Yeah,
That's my parents. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, Mom, are you all right? Like, but I'm like, I went from
But
one extreme
also,
to another, and then I
The
was like,
main, the main
we're
point of the
just gonna
story is that
stand-
you do not get tornadoes in Plymouth.
I know we're set down.
When was there
I
a tornado
mean,
in
we don't
Plymouth? Ever heard
have
of one?
but you get those microbursts with a lot of wind and stuff.
That happened
And
right
it was
behind
some
my house
pretty
when I
fucked
lived
up
in
weather
North.
on Saturday.
I
It
had
was
a
Right.
wild.
I had
Yeah.
a microburst right behind. Jesus Christ! I had a microburst one time at my
Give me a
house when we
microburst.
lived in Norwell. We lived down this little gully, and there was like a cemetery, like forest behind us, like well elevated, and we were out selling lemonade. I was probably like 10 years old.
Probably like 22
Huge
years
bolt
old.
of this was like
It's
I made like
still lemonade on the
$7.
corner.
I made
don't
$7.
want
I drank the other $24 in lemonade myself because I was fucking thirsty smoking butts.
Hungover.
I was like, why aren't these kids coming over? I'm just breathing cigarettes, smoking their faces. Fuck.
Look at this guy's hand.
This guy's hand is super swollen. He's sitting out here ripping butts. and selling lemonade for $3 a glass.
$3 a cup.
And then anytime they come over to order one, he pours himself a full glass, gives me a full glass, and then chunks it in my face and burps. It's a fucking wild man.
His cigarette
Yeah,
smoke.
good luck
Wild
with
man.
that. It's a real business model right
But
there.
yeah, I was like 10 years old selling lemonade, and this huge bowl of lemonade came behind our house, and it was like wild. The wind just shifted, and so we ran inside, and I mean, up the hill, maybe 30 yards behind us, a fucking microburst had just tore a fucking asshole through the cemetery. There were trees
Jeez.
everywhere, and it was like from here to the top of your driveway was where it happened.
Wow.
So yeah, it can
It's
happen.
still a little pap though. I mean,
Odds
that-
are
yeah.
unlikely, but
Yeah,
These
that's. I mean, and they say like, I mean, we get like literally one tornado a summer somewhere, and like, remember one time they had it on the Cape, and it got like all the hotels
Springfield
and
got
stuff.
fucked.
The Cape was actually a big one that destroyed like a hotel.
Yeah.
no, remember the one in in like the canal? It was like fucking a water tornado.
Yeah. A
That
water,
was sick. A water spout.
Yes.
That's cool though.
It was so cool. Can you imagine if you were like on like a
Fishing and
paddleboard?
the fish that you have on your line.
Just get
So anyway,
sucked in. Fucking jeez. I've been waiting all day for this fish.
Twister's a fun movie though. It's a fun
Oh,
movie.
it's a great movie.
Not
Oh yeah.
necessarily not
So-
horror, but it's a fun movie.
What do
for
you mean
sure.
not horror? That's a natural,
Natural disaster.
There are
Right,
there are
yeah.
horrific things.
You
that
know what's the
happen.
scariest part of that movie? Is when they're at the drive-in
Yeah,
and the Shining is
Yes.
on
the
in the
best part of the
background.
movie.
That's
yeah.
the scariest part of the movie.
That was
Yes.
actually what when if you went to Universal Studios in Florida in the 90s and 2000s, there was a Twister. Not even a ride. It was just like it's like a special effects
Yeah.
show, and that's the scene that they put in front of you.
Such a good scene. That's
it was awesome. It was really
tornado
really cool.
blasting through the Shining, playing at a drive.
Great.
It's awesome.
It's so
yeah.
great.
Just at like the right time.
Especially the fact that
Right.
Shining's playing, and you saw like on the screen that it was double feature Psycho and The Shining back to back that
Mhm.
night. That would have been a hell of a night to be at a drive, and that would have been sick.
Yeah.
Just not that night.
Just not that night. Anyway, all right. So that was Twister, and I think we were talking. We were going to move to Andrew for watch list
Yes.
stuff, right? What
Because
do
the
we
other thing I watched was October Sky, and that's not.
Yeah.
movie.
got?
Have you seen it?
Not
You saw it?
horror.
I've seen that
Have you
movie.
seen
It's a good
October Sky?
Long time ago.
Yeah.
I was a
Solid.
It's a good movie.
I
Jake
was yet
Gyllenhaal's
a boy
like
at
15.
that time.
Just a young boy.
Well, that's a movie you're not going to watch again.
No, I used to watch it when I was a kid, like in the summertime.
Oh, but you did
on like a
watch
rainy
it.
day. That's
Anyways,
exactly what we did.
Moving on.
Yes.
What do you got?
That's
I watched
it was
Cocaine
a nostalgic
Bear.
night.
That's right. You said that
Yeah.
earlier. So
That
what were
movie
your thoughts?
fucking rocked. I
Told ya.
thought that movie was so much fun. It was so out of control, so ridiculous, but so well done. Like it was extremely well acted. It's just a ridiculous premise for a movie, and I know they're basing it off of some fact. I'm just questioning how much fact actually happens.
I think the fact was that
the
the
park
bear,
ranger
the
is
bear
the best
actually did
character, yeah.
cocaine
and that's about it.
and then shortly died.
Yeah,
after.
and that's
Already
about it.
exploded.
Yeah, clearly, because like this story's out of
Wait,
control.
is it
Yeah.
streaming now?
Yeah, it's on
Oh.
Peacock. Yeah,
Okay.
I watched that. I was between that and Renfield because that's also on.
Oh yeah,
Renfield
dude.
is-
Yeah, you gotta watch
Oh,
Renfield.
you gotta
That'd be a
Renfield,
good double
yeah.
feature because they're both so fucking.
They're
over
both
the
ridiculous
top.
and funny and gory. It's yeah. That's
Dude,
actually
Renfield, I
The
thought was
park ranger
much
just shooting
funnier.
everybody
Oh,
in the
yeah.
head, like
Yeah.
just killing everybody. It's so good.
I'd
Yeah.
watch Renfield again. Like Renfield was actually
Yeah,
really
That movie was
Renfield.
awesome.
I would definitely. I'll own that at some point. I'll get that.
Yeah, way better than
physical
Cocaine
copy.
Bear. Sorry.
Dude, we could dedicate a whole
Cocaine Bear
episode
was
to it
like-
if we
Better
wanted
than
to.
Cocaine Bear?
Oh, Renfield's way better than
That's a
I
candidate.
don't know. I
That's-
feel like Cocaine Bear is my type of movie.
Mm.
It's like an
well, that's
80s
actually a really tough call.
Well,
I don't
why
know.
don't you watch both and report back? And then we'll see who's
Well,
right.
hey,
Not as
we
good
could
as
we could
Grizzly
we could
2,
talk
The
about
Revenge, but it's
you
pretty
know
good.
if we're looking for subjects for next week, we could talk about Cocaine Bear and or Renfield. I know you wanted to do a double feature for new movies, Matt. Maybe we could do that next week. Just an idea. Anyway, hey,
Yeah,
we'll see.
bang to.
Well, I only
there's
gotta
like
watch one though.
one guy.
Already nailed.
What else besides Cocaine Bear?
That was
Anything?
it. Other
Double
than
feature?
All right.
we do the shadows.
Cool. All right, so I checked out the newest documentary on Shudder, Sharksploitation.
Oh yeah, that just came out.
It was dope. I loved everything about it. It was right up my alley. Yes.
Is Eli
So-
Roth in it?
We
No,
didn't even-
actually.
Oh, wow.
Did we even? I don't even watch. I don't think I watched anything over Shark Week. This past
I
week
didn't
was
either.
Shark Week, wasn't
Oh,
it?
No, I didn't
really?
either. No.
I thought
I
Shark
didn't
Week was
even-
in August.
Well, the good thing is it's all on demand on Max.
Was,
So
right?
was
still
it?
available.
Was it? Wait, but it was this past week.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Jason Momoa was the host, the guy that plays that.
Because I
Aquaman.
saw you recorded Jackass. There was a Jackass Shark Week thing.
So glad. It should be David Attenborough.
Well, no, that was from last year. Last
I mean,
summer
he might
was,
be dead now.
Oh,
or 2 summers ago.
so are they
Jason
replaying
Momoa.
last?
I don't think
Fishman.
so.
I'm just so happy me and you made
Maybe.
the same. We were both like,
Fucking Jason Momoa.
Maybe the Jackass guys did something else.
Who's Jason Momoa?
Wait, what was I missed that.
That's the funny part that you were. He's like, who did Shark Week? And you said Jason Momoa.
It was like me and Andrew
Jason
gave each other this look,
Momoa.
really.
Not that anything you
How do you
said.
guys not know who?
I
know
know
I
who he
do,
is,
but
it's just random.
Who the
Like,
fuck wants Jason Momoa?
Somebody who pays attention. I pay attention to Shark Week, so I know.
No. I know. I'm saying I agree that you.
It was
know,
just a random guy.
I said, who
to
picks
host it?
Jason Momoa?
Oh, dude, he's a bro. He probably loves sharks.
Why don't you get,
I'm not
you
surprised.
need like David Attenborough. That's what I need.
That would not be hype enough for the Discovery Channel these days for Shark Week.
Yeah, so we got Aquaman.
Yeah, but anyway, sharks. Sharksploitation.
He is buff.
Yeah, Rick met him.
He's one of them buff boys.
Boston.
Harley.
You'll
He's a buff
love
boy.
it. Check it
He's a
out.
buff boy.
If I can ever talk about it.
Jason Momoa.
Little buff boy. He is a buff boy. Anyway, Sharksploitation on Shudder is pretty dope. It's kind of talks about the history of shark horror movies, specifically how Jaws impacted the shark movie landscape. All the rip-offs that came afterwards, all the non-shark type of Jaws movies that came out. So like,
about that movie
talk especially Orca's mentioned in there. They talked about Piranha, Alligator, Grizzly, and Grizzly 2. So basically talking about, and then like the history of not only those types of movies, but also the history of shark movies that came after Jaws, and basically how Jaws created this explosion of fear that sharks were these villains. And it led to, unfortunately, some really bad things in movies and unsafe practices with actual sharks, like being killed for production and stuff like that. And the fact that Jaws created such a public panic and fear that so many people were scared of sharks that they became more hunted than they ever were before. Some species of sharks have never returned to their levels that they were at. And kind of how Peter Benchley, who wrote Jaws, was obviously, he loved the success of the movie and the book, but like the impact that he had on actual sharks bothered him. So he spent the rest of his life being like a shark.
This was his Oppenheimer.
I was just going to say that, but I was like, is that offensive?
But then it goes on to talk about like all these awesome 80s like shark movies, and then it talks about like Deep Blue Sea and the reef and open water. So it covers like the entire history of shark horror movies, and it's awesome. It's worth your time. It's a little long. It's like an hour. Meg's in there, absolutely. This came out like a couple days ago, so it's brand new. But it's just it's like if you like horror movie history and nerddom like I do, it's a good watch. I had a lot of fun with it. I love shark stuff.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
But it's absolutely worth checking out. Yes, Sharksploitation on Shudder.
And those poor sharks, they don't get paid shit.
No, they don't get paid
Just
shit.
get harpooned.
Just get killed, harpooned, or bang sticked, or shocked, or something like that.
I pulled out.
Yeah, and then also the other thing I wanted to recommend too, especially since I talked about the alien shit at the top of the episode, go check out from the guy that produces Radio Rental. Check out High Strange, which is a podcast about aliens.
High Strange.
High Strange.
I go to kind of go High Strange.
High Strange.
It's fucking strange.
All right. Anybody else got any watch list stuff before we move on to tonight's topic du jour? We good? All right, before we get into Nightbreed, why don't we pause for a quick 90-second break for a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
It's official. The critic's decision is in. Spooky World is spectacular. Enter the new black hole. If you dare. Or the new horror House of Wax. This year, don't miss the real Jason, Bobby Pickett, or Alice Cooper. Phone the 24-hour Spooky World hotline. 508-838-0200. That's 508-838-0200. Spooky World is just west of Boston and haunts every night from October 1st till November 1st. If you had the nerve, you'd phone 508-838-0200.
It's America's horror theme park, Spooky World.
Don't be scared. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Biffle, here's the super sweet new cereal, Frankenberry.
But I've got chocolate sweeties for monstrous chocolate flavor.
Well, I've got berry-flavored sweeties for monster strawberry flavor.
Count Chocula.
Frankenberry.
Hi.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
Sleepy flowers.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
The new face of evil is going to scare you to death. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. It's killers. Then be next door to the Abington Ale House. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. Eat, drink, and be scary. Go to bhmansion.com.
All right, we're back, which means that we here have an Andrew pick tonight. And
The most Andrew of Andrew.
Before I hand it to you, my friend,
You had to say.
it's funny when
Mo.
we obviously, we spend a lot of time each week recording, and I spend a lot of time like trying to think about what we're going to talk about. We all do. And there are certain moments when like I'm watching something, like when I'm preparing for a podcast, and it just makes me smile because I'm just like, this is the most ex-host movie I've ever seen. And I actually said to the group last night that I think 10 minutes into this movie, I said, I think this might be the most Andrew movie that's ever Andrewed before.
Yeah.
And I might be correct. Just the combination of crazy, kinky, horror, gory violence with some like weird fantasy shit. This is like the most you movie ever, which I can completely understand. You picked it.
That makes perfect sense.
I had to lead off with that, but I want to give you the floor to talk about Nightbreed because you've been barking up this tree for a while, my friend. Like you've been trying to scratch this itch. Pardon the swollen wasp hand pun, but you've been trying to get this on here for a while.
So it's a very hard movie to explain to somebody, and
ain't that the truth?
I wouldn't recommend even trying to explain to somebody. It's one of those movies where you just have to convince them that you need to watch this movie because it's the most late 80s, early 90s B horror, like made for TV type movie, but it's so fucking good. Like this, I could confuse this with a movie that was made for TV. It's just so ridiculous, so long. Practical effects are amazing. The monster design is amazing. You get Cronenberg playing the serial killer, Dr. Decker, and that mask is fucking amazing. I love his mask. I think he's one of my favorite like movie serial killers. He's definitely up there. It's just so weird. It's like you guys both said very good comparisons to Hellraiser meets The Never-Ending Story.
Yeah,
that was what Sarah
fucking
said,
pretty spot on.
Pretty legit.
Mike compared it to X-Men 2, like the plot line, and that's pretty fucking spot on too. So just meld all those three movies together.
Those are all great movies.
Maybe throw in Legend and Labyrinth and just mix that together.
Yeah, definitely. It has like a little flair of like a Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, it's very
and like H.P. Lovecraft type shit. Yeah.
Yep. I didn't even think of the del Toro connection there, but like I feel like this movie inspired something like Pan's Labyrinth for sure. Like an inspiration, it's not a clone or anything like that, but you can see the influence, I think.
This is kind of one of those movies where it slightly drags on at the beginning, but it doesn't really. It's just there's a lot of weird scenes that show up, which lengthen it. Like the scene with Lori, the girlfriend, just singing in the club, like that song. It's like 2 minutes long.
The whole song.
Song fucking rocks. So, I mean, let's not.
But if she's really singing,
if she's really singing too, even
which
better.
she is, by the way.
Yeah. It's just it almost was like a David Lynch moment, like Twin Peaks or something like weird like that. That was just thrown in there, and it was like, I think that's only in the director's cut. I don't think that's actually in the original cut of the movie.
So it was in the one that we watched last night, which it was on Peacock.
If it was 2 hours, it was the director's cut.
We saw the director's cut.
So the other one's
it's on Tuesday.
I think the other one's like an hour 40.
So I read a lot about that when I was writing down notes for this, but so I know that Clive Barker had a lot of issues with the way the studio released this movie, but like on Peacock, it's not advertised as the director's cut. Like I would want to know.
I think that's now because it was like back in 2014. I think they re-released it called the Cabal cut. Technically,
okay,
and they re-released it like a movie, like premiere thing, and people liked it a lot better because I feel like his vision was kind of massacred by the studio.
Yeah, that definitely was going to come up later.
Screen Gem.
I forget who the production company is,
Early
but
90s,
Clive Barker, who obviously wrote the original story, wrote the screenplay for this, and directed the movie, which is incredible. Had a big problem with the way this movie was marketed and ultimately released. It was marketed as more of just your traditional slasher, but with almost like a Hellraiser type spin on it, which that is so far away from what this movie actually is. It's definitely criminal to advertise it that way because I feel like you're selling it way, way, way short. It's much more than that.
It's so much more. It's everything. It's just like a very strange story. Like it starts off in one place and then all of a sudden it turns into like this wild fantasy where he visits, like Midian's the fucking best. That place rules.
Yeah,
I'm going to Midian.
Andrew's like, I want to go.
That reminds me of like in the Lost Boys place in Hook, where they have like the things and they're like racing around the little like wooden bridges kind of things. And
it reminded me of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disney.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Or like
All-
it's a small world or something.
All
But
good
in
comparisons.
conjunction with like a haunted house, we'll say.
Yeah.
Not like that literal, but yeah.
some Disney ride.
No, not a Disney ride at all.
Well, that monster, like when he first goes in and he's like, "Oh, like you're innocent, like you're like a fucking
Yeah.
the moon
Like,
face
yeah,
guy.
you're not
Yeah.
for here. Yeah.
And that dude fucking like in the shadows, it was a fucking solid little monster fucking scene. Like
Oh,
he like
yeah.
starts roaring and fucking
He's the best monster in
snarling
the
at
whole
him. I
movie.
was like, and then he's chasing him. His fucking dreadlocks are flying around. I
Yeah.
was like,
He was great.
His
It was like
voice was
Predator.
fantastic. Whoever that guy was, he killed it.
yeah,
The
he
red-
lost me on some of like the lines.
Yeah, but that's not his fault.
No, I know, but so like it's just like in terms of I just kind of was like,
There's some lines in there that are the
Yeah.
ultimate.
Oh, yeah.
Like
that's just
that
1990.
one scene where the guy's like, "There goes the neighborhood." I'm like, really? That's what you're saying in this line? Like,
Yeah.
that's your line?
There was one other line that I forget right now that I looked at Kat and I was like, wow, really? Oh my God, good Lord.
Yeah.
But
Well, how about like the two like the fat couple at the beginning, just like
oh yeah, that was odd. That was an odd choice.
they're just loving how fat they are.
Yeah. Oh, I love you, fat. I'm fat too. Ooh.
It's
I mean, at
Both
least they're
just
honest
fucking
with themselves.
chopped
It's
up.
like, "Hey, fatty, get
I
over
mean,
here.
hey,
I'm gonna fuck
hey,
you."
love yourself. Be happy, I guess.
But
He
it-
should have yelled when she came back in the room. And was like, "Do you got those fucking s'mores?" And then he turns around and gets his fucking head chopped off.
So we were just talking about
Maybe.
Disney for a second. Did you guys actually know that Disney was in talks with Clive Barker to put together a Clive Barker section of a theme park?
No,
I
Seems
shit,
like the most un-Disney thing ever.
I shit you not. So in addition to
Yeah.
writing a bunch of horror books and really weird Clive Barker
about like
books,
S&M and fucking
there was
shit.
one.
This is like that's what our whole campaign is about.
Wow.
This time.
There was
This
a
is Disney now?
there was a book
Holy
that
This is just
he
the
wrote.
executives with the young actresses. In this one.
I'll find the name. There was a book that he wrote back in like I think 2002, and Disney was trying to find its like because you know how Harry Potter is at Universal Studios. Disney was trying to find like their version,
And
of
they
that.
were like Nightbreed. Like what?
No. So they were basically they were trying to find
what?
they were trying to find like a fantasy version of that. And Clive Barker's actually written like several teenage like fantasy
Makes
style
sense.
books in addition to his hardcore horror stuff. And I will find the name of the book in a second, but it's going to take me a moment here.
Well,
But
you find that I want to say
Disney actually was in talks with him to put together a theme park land based on one of his like adult like teenage fantasy like books. I swear to God.
Do you
Look
guys
it up.
remember the late '90s Disney TV movie "Don't Look Under the Bed"?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I do.
How similar to this movie was that?
Yeah. There was
In
a
terms
lot.
of
It's
like
very
the monster,
similar. Yeah.
kind of like this like world live in stuff like that, like the boogeyman. That's all I could
I
think of
want
the
to
whole time I
rewatch that,
watched
but
this
yeah,
movie.
I know what you're talking. Yeah, that's,
Movie scared the
that's
fucking
funny.
dick balls and ass off me when I was a little kid.
Oh my God, yeah. When I was a kid, like someone always lived under my bed. Like that was I watched movies like that,
Yeah.
like other things. I was horrified of
The
what
movie
like,
was fun.
some
That is
things
not
lived
a
under my
kid's
bed.
Disney movie. That the movie should have been rated.
Dude,
R.
Disney,
Yeah.
It came out in '99, so that makes sense.
Disney Channel movies used to go hard back in the day. for
Yeah,
sure.
dude,
Like,
the
way harder
Halloween
than that.
Town and stuff.
Yeah. By the way, Aberrat was the name of Clive Barker's, adult fiction or young adult fiction book that Disney was going to do. Just FYI.
Aberrat.
Yes, Aberrat. The books of Aberrat.
Do you want me to read my notes?
Sure.
Can we do cats? Cats. No.
The best part is when you just read them verbatim.
Yeah.
So please do that again.
It's almost like
Okay,
you're doing a
ready?
Colin Robinson from What We Do in the Shadows
and you
bit.
don't even realize.
Okay.
Which, like, if that's actually what you're trying to pull
No,
off, that's
no.
pretty funny.
She's just
Like, but
Okay.
I don't think it is. Go ahead.
Nightbreed. That's the title of my notes.
That's correct.
That's the name of the movie too. You nailed it. Good thing you watched. At least it wasn't
600 points for writing your name.
Well, Matt wasn't.
The Exorcist 3.
I don't think
we
Matt
didn't
was.
watch that movie.
Matt wasn't present for the Tremors notes last week, which I feel like that was the most that you've
Yes.
nailed it in.
Oh,
quite
that's
a
the
long
most
time.
nailing
Okay.
fucking notes.
You were
She
just like,
had,
yes,
5
Kevin
things.
Bacon and Fred Ward. You didn't even say Fred Ward. You're like, Kevin Bacon and friend,
Idiots.
Idiots. but funny. Worms.
Good movie.
Good
Me
movie.
likey.
Okay, ready? Such an Andrew movie. Midian is where the monsters go. ... His girlfriend looks like an absolute psychopath when she was singing.
I thought it was kind of hot.
She
Random
dies,
thoughts with
and
Jack-
then they're like,
Jack
"Welcome to
Handy.
the club." ... She likes to play outside. The child in the grave. Like what?
Oh, the weird monster that was
yes,
finds
and
that,
she
like,
the
was
shapeshift. That's
a
definitely a
weird-
shapeshifter.
Yeah,
Of
that
course.
was a
A
weird
lot of
thing.
shapeshifters.
That's Muppet.
Yeah. Oh, that was so
Dude,
weird.
the Muppet.
She likes
Muppets were
to play
pretty good in this.
outside.
They were,
A
yeah,
lot of
very
Muppets.
good. Very
a lot
good.
of Muppets.
Then, like I said, is Sam from Trick or Treat off of the sack thing guy, the killer guy? Is that like kind of
The serial
kind of,
killer.
Yeah,
Like
Sam
Sam-
kind of
okay,
based off
Sam
him?
from Trick
Similar
or Treat.
mask, maybe more
Kind of.
stranger's
Similar?
mask.
That one's scarier though. That actually both combination of both.
Deckers is
I can see.
terrifying.
Tabernacle is like a strange haunted house, weird people doing bizarre things. ...
You have to
Clickbait.
put ... at
Yeah.
so what's the ...
Like I'm still
Nothing.
thinking. I'm still thinking.
Yeah, you
This
have
is
nothing.
this is a continuous thought throughout the entire
Sure.
movie.
So if she says ... instead of just silence while she's thinking, it makes her feel
Right.
better. There you go.
So
Fair
no, but then the next note is claymation ! Exclamation point. Because they had
There was some
in there,
claymation,
there was a
yes.
little claymation.
Well, also
thing
the
of,
whole
like, the
set design
Stegosaurus.
from a distance was clearly
Yeah.
drawn or just
Yeah, the makeup for this
not real.
movie was awesome. All of them-
Fantastic.
it was phenomenal.
The only
Great-
one that I
great
couldn't
practical
take seriously was
Moon face guy?
is that the dude with the big chin?
Yeah, the moon. He looked like the Nick at Night guy.
He did,
Yeah.
dude. You just
Or like the crimson chin from
Oh, that's what you meant by the Nick at Night guy. I was what? So you meant he looked
Yeah,
like
he
the
has a
moon
moon head.
from Nick at Night? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you were like some guy that hosted Nick at Night. And I'm like, who
Dick
the
Van-
fuck are you
Dick
talking
Van
the way
about?
he like walked around, he was always just
He
like
was just
Yes.
such a Goomba.
Yes.
Like that he looked the fakest thing ever. He looked
That
like
other
a
guy
fucking-
looks like one of the Wheelers, the guy who had the little
Oh, here
the
we go.
little
Yeah,
hook
yeah.
knife
She was talking
thing.
about
I
Oh, they got
said
the skinned off
Yes,
face.
yes,
That
yes,
guy was
yes.
one of the best.
he reminded
What a
me of
creep.
one of the Wheelers from Return to Oz, like those guys. who
Yeah,
like,
actually,
That's
that's
true.
I'm like,
actually
he
kind
really
of pretty
did,
much
like-
spot on.
like
yeah,
a
this
lot.
movie had a lot of that kind of like
Um,
childhood horror movie.
Yeah.
thing.
But then you get
Um,
the berserkers who are absolutely wild.
Wait,
shit.
that's my next note. Wait for that. Put a pin in that.
Yep.
We were just talking recently about the my next note is Porcupine Boob Girl, which we can talk about. Is the girl?
Porcupine Boob
Yes,
Girl.
that was my next note because I was like, I write these. It's like an outline for me. Then I can be like, oh, talking points. If I
She
wanna talk about it.
seduced those men,
But it was so funny because you're
looking
just-
like Sonic the Hedgehog. I was
you're,
like,
yeah.
the
yeah,
fuck?
you're watching.
How is this
and you're
attractive? I'm like,
what?
get over here.
Yeah,
Like, that guy
she's
was
like,
so
"Don't
entranced.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're also killing people, and then all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bang this weird porcupine-looking thing that we're in battle with. Like we're looking for mutants, and you're like, I'm just gonna bang this.
I'm gonna bang
I
this
don't give a
thing.
fuck.
She,
I don't give a fuck what's
her
going on.
boobs are out, but she has spikes
Dude,
all
the
over her, but
horniness
that's
level for
fine.
that guy was like honk if you're horny level.
I think
like,
it's meant to almost be like a siren type thing, like
I
almost
get
like
it.
I
Poison
get
Ivy
it,
and
but still,
Batman.
you
Like,
can
hey,
see that it's not.
here I am
gonna
naked.
be-
You want to bang me? You will stop trying to shoot me, and that just happened.
But then they continue on as if she's not
right?
some weird
Yeah,
monster.
she's
Trying
Scarlett.
to
She's Scarlett
hypnotize,
Johansson the
clearly.
fuck out of the
Yeah.
fuck out of him. So
I would hope so. Otherwise, they're just the horniest guys ever.
Um, So then my next,
They're like Paul Rubens in a movie theater.
my next
Oh,
and last
too soon?
note. So
Oh,
after
yeah.
I had another
No one
note.
gives a
news
fuck
has
about
been out
Paul
there for a
Rubens.
while. Sorry.
And also,
I mean-
no one cares.
He also, I think, was convicted of doing it, so it's like fair
Yeah,
game.
he's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Used to be a piece of shit, still a piece of shit. Just kidding.
So my next note
Chicken
was
spaghetti
the
at Chickalinis,
Berserkers.
jerking off
because
in an adult movie theater.
when my next and last note was about the Berserkers, and I was like, where have I heard Berserkers from? So
Here's how you can tell it's a real opinion because she closed her phone and now she's just saying it.
yes, no, this is a real opinion because
100%
I
a
was,
thing, and I can't remember what it is either. The
So,
Berserkers are
I
definitely
don't even
from
know
something.
if it's. I'm also thinking. I'm like. So actually, I
You
looked up.
must know.
They're a Norse thing, a Norse type of monster.
Yep.
And then I was like, maybe I know them from like Clash of Clans because I used to play Clash of Clans a lot on my phone. So I know, yeah, it's a nerd alert. Okay, it's fine. But yeah, I think maybe it was from Clash. Maybe it was from something. I was trying to put my finger on it, and I was like, I don't know, but I know Berserkers from. But firm, I just said that.
Firm.
Yeah, we're all
between two ferns.
guilty
Between
of
two firms.
speaking. So
It's okay.
yeah, that was a weird thing that I was like, wait, Berserkers. I was like, I know that from something. But I wonder if anyone else who's listening maybe knows that and they can talk about it. But
I've definitely heard the term before.
From
I
a video
still,
game.
I don't know. Yeah.
is it
Yeah,
from,
it's definitely
Yeah,
video
it's from like
games.
Fallout or something.
It's
Oh,
from,
you know what?
Maybe.
Okay, that's
Terra,
actually
Maple Story 2, Path of Exile,
Or
Gears
like
of War.
Gears of War.
Clash
Yeah.
of
Gears of
Clans?
War,
Is it
yeah.
Clash of Clans?
Gears of War.
Okay.
But I've
I
heard
feel like-
Berserker and something else.
I have
They're like just
too.
big, huge, sick.
Well, and
people.
then I was like, is it like Lord of the Rings kind of thing where it's those other monsters?
I
Well,
think,
they
I
could've
think
been orcs.
Fallout
They
is where
kinda
I've
look
heard
like
from.
I think it's
yeah,
actually Gears of War.
I don't
Gears
know.
of War is what it was.
Maybe
Yeah.
both.
Yeah, I didn't
Maybe
say
both.
the other one.
Okay. All right.
looked it up.
Well,
Those are my notes.
I mean, the Berserkers were actually a really cool part of the movie, I thought, for sure.
They were. You don't know
They were
what
like
they were.
orcs, sick of eating moldy
That's what
bread.
I mean, in all seriousness, like I was
days.
fucking around before. Like I'm not fucking around because it definitely is an Andrew movie, but I actually really enjoyed this movie a lot. I mean, Matt, you said you hadn't seen this in a really long time. I actually don't think I had ever seen this before.
I don't think I've seen the whole thing in one sitting.
Yeah.
It was
I mean,
great though.
There's certainly a lot going on, and at times it can be a little overwhelming, but it's never dull, and it's way over the top. Say what you will about Clive Barker. I mean, aside from Stephen King, he's got to be the most popular horror author of all time, I would think. Aside from Edgar Allan Poe, like whatever, like, but he's up there, right? Like in modern horror authors.
Michael
Yeah.
Crichton.
Whatever you think about Clive Barker, he's never dull. He's always very imaginative and weird. And,
Yeah, he's got an incredible imagination.
yeah, this movie
A lot of
does not
mythos.
disappoint.
Do either of you guys know like what the underlying meaning of this movie is?
No.
So I was doing some research
Tell me.
and I was reading some articles, and so I never knew that Clive Barker was gay.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. So
That's a huge influence on this movie.
and
I
that's a
feel like.
huge influence in this movie because this is basically what I read is his commentary of how members of the LGBTQ community are treated. This was made in '90s, so it was very.
it was
They're
brutal.
to that
treated
point.
as,
They were treated as outcasts, and
like,
that was like a lot of what was inspired, which is what I read about this. So, and I can see that being 100% accurate.
Well, that was
Makes a
actually
lot of sense.
part of the comparison that I was trying to draw with like X-Men 2. Like the X-Men movies, say what you will about them. I mean, they're a little bit dated when you watch them now, but at least 1 and 2 are pretty good. 2's the best one. But that whole movie is like about being a mutant and like being different is a metaphor for being like a gay youth in America at that time.
Nice. So that's a good
1,000%. That's what the direct Bryan Singer that say he's a scumbag too, from what you read. He directed those movies. He's a gay man too. So obviously the metaphors
Wow, what did he do?
are there. He was accused of like molesting like younger actors and stuff like that. So yeah, not very good. Not a good thing. But anyway, he directed X-Men and X-Men 2, The Last Stand. No, X3 was The Last Stand. X2 was X-Men United.
So that's what reminded this movie to you.
Yeah, because there's like a whole scene. Like, so there's one part in X-Men 2 that I remember where so it's the guy from The Following, Sean Ashmore.
Oh yeah.
He plays Iceman, and he goes to his parents' house in New York to pretty much like come out to them as a mutant, which obviously it's clearly a metaphor for coming out as gay.
Yeah.
And those movies, that was like important at that time in the early 2000s. And I just like
Did the
that's
parents like freak out?
oh yeah, like have you ever tried
You're a fucking mutant.
have you ever tried not being a mutant? Like have you ever tried
Oh,
not
wow.
being gay? Like it's like dude, it's about on the nose
That's
as you can
wild.
get.
I can't even remember.
That
But
makes
like I
100%
think
though.
when you think about like I don't even know that it's subtext, but the text of this movie about being an outsider and being different and weird, and like the fact that they all have these powers too, it's very very similar plot. That's where I was going with that.
That makes a no.
see
I see that. I never would have thought of that. I would never have compared this movie to anything because outside of what you just said and outside of what Sarah said, but she was mixing it as two movies.
Yeah, I mean, she came in and was
it's
just like,
one of
she was
the-
like, this looks like if Hellraiser was fucking
Yeah.
in.
It's
the
clearly
fucking
one of the most
whatever.
unique movies you're ever gonna watch.
Oh, of course. I mean,
She did not get it.
also,
Most people don't. I don't even know. If
I didn't really
She only watched,
understand
like,
either.
I just
40 minutes of it, she was
like
like,
the
what the
fucking movie.
fuck
It's
is
a
this?
wild movie.
no offense, Kat. I did have to explain to Kat what was going on a couple times at the very beginning.
I had to look at the synopsis a couple times just to kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure I was
because
following
it
along.
kind of goes all over the place.
Yeah.
It is
Like,
all
which is
over
one of the big
place.
complaints of the movie is the plot is a little
it's
convoluted.
out
It's
there.
it's out there, but if you can just remember
Right.
this
Right.
movie,
That's what I kept saying.
I'm just gonna keep watching it because the plot has a billion holes in it, but so does every movie. Like I don't really give a fuck.
I thought the again it related to like how bad this movie was marketed, but in like the description of the movie, if you read it, like the 2-sentence description, it's basically that a drifter or whatever finds a fake or like a magical like land or environment or whatever, but like it's never in the film explicitly like made to look like it's like this weird magical place.
Well, he's taking
Looks
all
like
this
he can just
medication.
find it.
Yeah, and you just
like,
walk
very
in.
easily.
Yeah, it's just
Walk
down,
in.
it's
He
down
might just
Route
be
80.
crazy.
You just
Yeah.
drive the whole
And
way
like
and go,
everyone
here
in
it
like
is.
the adjacent towns
Know about
knows where it is.
I love
and
when
knows
he's-
of it.
when he's driving
right?
there.
They
It's
say-
just all over the road.
Which it's kind of refreshing. That's the case. That like it's not like a secret. It's just out there. People know about it. It certainly seems like
But they don't go there.
like the what's the next door police department with that asshole Eisen Steen or Eisenberg.
Ashburn.
Yes.
Yeah.
They like have this illusion still that it's like the boogeyman. It's like out there, but like they don't believe that it's there, and that just go and find it so easily. And then there's all of a sudden. We can talk about the last act when they go there to shoot it up, the arsenal that they bring with them, which I think is obviously a commentary by Clive Barker on gun culture in certain places, because that was the most over-the-top ridiculous thing.
Oh, dude, the guy with the flamethrower that
in my entire life
lights himself on fire.
Dude, they have flamethrowers, they have
That was
bazookas, they have automatic weapons, they have rifles, they have pistols, they have fucking everything. It's so over the top and outrageous. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That final battle is up there with like Lord of the Rings, like Two Towers. Like, I'm not even joking.
I have a feeling that a lot of people may disagree with you on that. But.
Maybe they will, but it's pretty damn good.
I will say, so it took me a little bit to recognize the main guy who plays, what's the character's name? Boone. Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone,
Sheffer,
by the way. That's right.
Sheffer.
Craig Sheffer.
Yeah.
Sheffer. And he's the quarterback in fucking The Program.
Oh.
I love that movie. It's one of my favorite football movies. So I reckon immediately I was like, oh my God, now I know where the
story checks out. He's a buff guy.
Oh yeah.
He's a bough baby. And he kind of it's also so when did Ghost come out? When did Ghost come out?
So actually we talked about this last week. So Ghost came out also in 1990. That was the top grossing film at the box office.
There's one scene in this movie when Laurie's in her apartment crying because she thinks Boone's dead, which he is. And she looks up.
She sees him.
And she sees him.
Yes.
And it's like, I was like, is that Patrick Swayze? And it wasn't. But he's up there. I mean, he's a good looking dude. And that was a weird scene because I was like, who stole this from who? Ghost? Or did Nightbreed steal this from Ghost? Because it's a very Ghost scene.
Well, they were being made at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is so weird because it's like a very, like that scene could have been Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze just as well as it was
the year of that
this bitch and that guy.
that you would do kind of style in that movie.
It just seemed really weird because it was so Ghost.
Yeah.
So I think that there's several factors that played into this movie not being as successful as it was at the time. Because I feel like this is definitely a cult movie right now, Andrew. Right? I mean, it's not.
This movie is not critically.
If you're a horror fan, you know about it, right? But it's not like it's got this huge
shit.
reputation. It's not dog shit.
No. If you ask like the general consensus,
I think the time that it came out actually was a detriment to the movie because I feel like if it had come out in the last like 10 or 15 years, it would have been. Not a cult classic. People would probably.
It would have been like a banger on like
revere.
Netflix.
Oh, absolutely. Or absolutely.
Like, what the fuck is this? And you're like, this movie's awesome.
And I wonder if like the underselling in terms of marketing and like the corporate executives not understanding what this movie was about, as Clive Barker had said, had something to do with the fact that there were a lot of like
just told them like, listen, you're paying me all this money to direct it, produce it. It's my story.
Is it a book?
Let me get the final. Yeah, he wrote it. Yeah, it was a book he wrote. Yeah.
A novella.
It's part of it's
shorter.
It's also linked very. I didn't get too deep into it, but Hellraiser and Nightbreed are linked.
It has to do with Cabal.
Yeah, it's Cabal, and they're in this. They're wrapped in the same.
Hellraiser.
Yeah, it's the same universe. They're all in the same universe.
But that story is
okay. So that
I thought that was from Books of Blood, but I don't
know.
Actually know.
Cabal's from Books of Blood.
I know that's like called like the Hellbound.
Which Hulu made that.
That's right.
Yeah, it's the Hellbound Heart is the Hellraiser.
Then what the fuck is Cabal?
Nightbreed.
Oh, it just is Nightbreed.
Well, it's a short story from.
But that's the name of the story. Is
the Books of Blood.
Yeah, the name of the story is Cabal because
that's Aaron Boone's name. He gets
name
named that by Baphomet, who's actually like a real
Baphomet.
I was just kind of
dude. I mean, I think there's so much shit. Like, we gotta talk about that. Baphomet.
The Baphomet's in a lot of different religions, and I can't remember what it was like. Norse. Norse. I think he was a Norse god.
That sounds
deity.
Right. That sounds right.
He's also in like that new Netflix show that came out with Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's the same fucking.
Well, no,
dude.
the Norse thing would make sense because I just said about
Doug Jones?
No, he's the same deity that they were complaining about in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the one that came out like 5 years ago. It was Baphomet.
Yeah.
Wait.
Not Sabrina.
He's the deity of satanic culture, I think.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Look at his name, Baphomet.
I'll find it.
So
Baphomet.
That would make sense if it was Norse, though, because the
Berserkers are Norse too. I think it's Norse. I think he's.
It makes sense if that was the
Baphomet. Looking it up.
Wow.
Hey, so Midian, by the way, is actually a biblical word.
It's from what you remove them from Midian or some shit. Yeah.
So basically in the Bible, Midian was the land in which Moses lived for 40 years in self-imposed exile. was
Correct.
in Midian that God appeared to Moses as the burning bush, telling him to go back to Egypt and free the Israelites.
That's correct. Yes.
yeah. So based
Clive Barker does a lot of. He's very
religious
religious.
allegory.
Interesting.
Faux show.
Clive.
What else?
Clive
I
Barker.
was just saying that.
Oh,
What else came out in
I was like-
1990?
what other movies came out in 1990?
Oh, you want to talk about some 1990
I
horror
think it's
movies?
time for that. We all
Well, I mean,
spoke.
we talked about this last week. We talked about Tremors, but I'll run through
Oh,
it again.
same year
Right.
too.
Did
That's
you
right.
watch
Because
Tremors?
now
I've
Matt's
seen
here.
Tremors.
Yeah, okay.
This
so
may
what-
or may
what
not
you,
have been
what
went
you think
to
of Tremors?
leading Nightbreed for this.
What did
year.
I think of Tremors?
Yes.
Tremors is fine.
It's fine.
Well, you know what?
I
It's
love
like,
horror.
it's
Here we
like,
go. Here we go.
it's like a nostalgic movie because it always used to be on Sci-Fi when I was a kid.
That's what I said
And
last week too.
I remember it was always on before something that I like really wanted to see. So I would just like leave it on Sci-Fi and I'd watch it in like my parents' room because they had like cable in their room and like my dad would be downstairs like watching
Yeah.
golf or something. And I just was like, I'm gonna go upstairs and watch Sci-Fi Channel. And it was on all the time, so I would always watch it. And I just, it was just, that's a nostalgia flick.
Yeah.
It's got everything.
It's
you need.
fun. Yeah.
I had a similar feeling last week, and I brought that up because I feel like, again, like you said, that was always on TV, and no matter where it was on TV, for me, I just left it on. So it's just like,
That's the same with like Twister or Titanic. For me,
And
Titanic.
it's just
if I
Twister's
see
a good
such an interesting-
comparison there. Titanic also.
Armageddon.
Armageddon.
I'll leave Armageddon on. I'll leave
So I think one question comes to mind then. 'Cause We're gonna
Tremors
get
is
deeper in.
PG-13.
We're gonna get deeper into 1990s
Yes.
horror movies,
Yes.
but let's assume there's no other 1990s horror movies, and there's Tremors.
Ever?
There's Tremors or Nightbreed. What do you pick?
Wow.
Wait, they're
I
the
mean,
same year?
I'm probably gonna pick actually, no, I think I'm gonna pick Tremors.
Damn it!
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Tremors too, Andrew.
Of course
I'm
you're
sorry.
gonna pick Tremors. I'm
Uh,
Nightbreed because it's way better.
That cat's going to be. What,
I might be a
difficult?
wild card for this.
Hocus Pocus.
Nightbreed. Yeah, Hocus
Yeah, there's
Pocus.
only two. No, so the Hocus Pocus doesn't exist in this universe.
So like if I
think
could
it
pick
came out
one that I
right.
could never watch again, it would
Well, I mean, I
No,
guess-
he's asking you
No,
to pick
I know.
between two movies.
Which
That's
movie
what I
do you
mean.
like better? I'm not
That's
asking you
how I
that. That's
weigh
a
my
different
decisions,
question.
though. That's my own head. That's like
It's an
if
insane way
there's
to
a
live,
movie
but
that-
cool.
well,
Yes,
yeah, you
continue.
pick one over the other. That's really what you're judging, right? If you could never see one
Just
again.
pick a movie.
Right.
It's
Which
not
one?
our discussion.
Nightbreed or Tremors?
I like Tremors over
Oh
Nightbreed.
my
I'm
God.
sorry.
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
Andrew.
I don't.
Boo.
I really
Boo.
liked Nightbreed. It was really
I-
close, but I think Tremors is just goofy, and I kind of like the goofiness in it.
They're different
Nightbreed-
types of movies.
Nightbreed
It's
is
like-
very
very different.
intense. Very
Yeah.
intense.
Tremors.
at times.
I mean, Tremors is still kind of comedic, but it's definitely. I feel like
Oh,
it takes
yeah.
itself much more
Yeah.
seriously.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People get fucking murked in Tremors, dude.
Yeah, they get killed.
Which okay,
Yeah.
so let me know if you agree with this statement or not. Do you think Tremors would be better? It would have been better if it were rated R as opposed to PG-13.
Well, obviously,
How could
everything
not
would be
be,
red.
right?
Every
I mean, like,
movie
there
would
could
be.
be so much
Sandy would be
more
better if it
kills.
was rated R.
Okay, so there you go. I figured as much, but I just wanted to ask for sure because both. I think Kat said last week she was like, she's like, I like it the way it is.
Every
No,
movie
I
should be
mean-
rated R,
Probably.
or just get rid of the rating system.
Yeah, and just be like, if you go to the movies, go at your
Yeah.
own risk.
Yeah.
Like, see ya.
Yeah.
Bring your kids if you want. I don't give
Figured
a
it out.
fuck.
Yeah,
It's just
Yeah.
like,
watch
Wow,
the trailer.
that would be wild.
Yeah.
That'd be wild. All right,
Dude.
all right. So we're gonna talk about some 1990 horror with
Yes.
Matt here now.
Yep.
All right.
Matt here now. I mean, yeah.
Matt here now, gentlemen. We had Arachnophobia starring Jeff Daniels out in 1990.
Absolute banger.
Yep,
Solid
banger
movie.
indeed.
I feel like I got
That was on my
spider.
90s draft.
I believe it was.
Yeah.
Matthew, we got Bride of Reanimator in 1990.
I actually watched that a few weeks ago. That might have snuck through the cracks on my watch list.
Okay.
Solid movie.
Oh,
That
dude,
came
I
out?
love it.
That came out in 90. We also got a movie called Buried Alive, which is a Frank Darabont directed movie with Jennifer Jason Leigh. Ever seen it?
I don't think so.
I don't think any of us have
Sounds
seen it
familiar, yeah.
But it came
Jennifer
out that
Jason
year.
Leigh. Pretty good. looking.
Matt, we got Child's Play 2 in 1990.
Love it.
I know you're
I don't know the
very
difference.
impressed with the
I've
Child's
seen
Play
a few of them.
franchise. Good for you. We also got a movie called Daughter of Darkness in 1990, which is a Stuart Gordon directed movie starring Anthony Perkins. Anybody seen it?
I'm surprised I haven't seen that. 'cause
Never
I love
seen that.
Stuart Gordon.
Anthony Perkins may come up later in this a little bit here. We also got host of the best jump scare of all time, The Exorcist 3, came out in
Banger.
1990.
It was
That's a
smash.
banger. And yeah, that's a fucking scary jump scare. Jesus Christ. We also got not the remake, but the original, I believe Joel Schumacher directed Flatliners movie, which also starred Kevin Bacon and a number of other actors in 1990. Yeah, so Flatliners.
Flatline for me.
Not a fan. Andrew, you like this movie, right?
Flatliners, I've seen it like once. It was fine.
Long time ago. I don't even remember who else is in it. I forget. I asked you this last week, Andrew. So between now and the last time we recorded, have you yet seen Frankenhooker? That came out in 1990.
Are you
dude? I own that.
Somebody's seen it. I should have.
That same guy did Basket Case. He did Brain Damage. Dude, that's nice. Henenlotter, right?
Oh, Brain Damage is fantastic.
Larry Henenlotter, Frank Henenlotter, something like that. I don't know.
I don't even know. I'm asking you guys. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, Frank Henenlotter. I'm deferring fucking to amazing, dude. You ever seen that?
No, never seen it. Never seen it.
It's a good one.
Guys, not a horror movie, but the highest grossing film of the year, 1990 was Ghost, starring Demi Moore.
Demi? Demi?
It is.
What is it?
Oh, wait.
I never heard of a semi.
I always thought it was
trailer.
Demi, but Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. Is it Demi Moore? Right? She's the one in it, right? Is that her? Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
that's her.
And Whoopi Goldberg. Child. Anyway, let's see. Andrew, also in 1990, we got Graveyard Shift.
Terrible movie, but I like it.
Yeah, not a great movie.
It's
also starring Fred Ward.
Yeah, I enjoy it thoroughly, but it's terrible.
We got Gremlins 2, the new batch. Great guy. See, I told you. You guys neither of you had seen that movie. That's
great. Fucking rocks.
Very good.
I've seen Gremlins. I haven't seen Gremlins 2.
Matthew.
Maybe we can do Gremlins 2.
Catherine, Andrew. We got the It miniseries, which I'm qualifying as a movie for you, Catherine.
Thanks. Yeah, I love it.
Banger.
Who's in that?
Jacob's Ladder.
Yes. Arguably the best horror movie to come out.
Yeah, that's that might be one of the best movies to come out in 1990.
In the whole 90s.
Yeah. The movie's a fucking horrifying.
It's a really
depressing.
Maybe we do that
awesome
soon.
Movie.
I haven't seen that.
I would absolutely. It's fucked
Tim
up.
Robbins.
Yeah, that movie's crazy. Yeah. It's fucking wicked confusing, but
it's scary and disorienting.
So we had to pick like some sort of. I mean, we're gonna release this in August technically, but like some sort of theme, right?
No, we don't have to do any of that. We've never.
Oh, it's time to watch. Oh, it's my yearly Texas Chainsaw Massacre watch. So.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
Let's gotta remember to do the cryptid draft and first week in September. So study up.
Study up.
I do need to do that.
Oh, I'm studied. Don't worry about me.
Okay.
Matt, I remember on this podcast last week when you were at the Red Sox game, we were running through this exact same list. Have you or have you not seen, because we made a bet here, Maniac Cop 2?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I fucking told you that he had seen Maniac Cop 2.
I've seen all three of them.
You were like, no way. I was like,
I didn't say no way. I
guarantee.
Said no. I said it was a yes or no question.
However, I did the same thing. I did the George Foreman. I guarantee that Matt has seen it. And he did.
No, it's just a verbal.
Those are actually kind of like decent movies. They're not like over the top violent slashers, but they're Bruce Campbell's in them. They're pretty entertaining.
That's what
They're kind of like action movies.
I told you.
You've seen all three of them?
No, I have not. I'm saying Matt would have seen them. Guys,
How would you
another
know what the movie
1990
is?
banger, Misery.
Mhm.
A huge,
Fantastic.
Well, big year for Stephen King.
huge banger. Yep, absolutely.
Was Pet Sematary 2 in 1990?
I don't believe so. I don't have it on this
Gotta
list.
be 91
Might be.
or 92.
Might be. Matt, did you know that in 1990 we get a remake of Night of the Living Dead, directed by Tom Savini? I had never seen that. I had never actually even heard of it until.
It's got fucking Tony Todd in it.
Oh shit!
As the main guy?
Mhm.
Wow, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to watch that. That's I mean, tough to.
It's super gory. It's a little. It's different than the original, but I mean, it's pretty rad.
Tough to remake a Romero movie, and
There's some good gore practical effects.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Yeah,
Savini directed it. So, all right. So that came out that year.
Did we get a Nightmare on
We
Elm
got
Street movie?
Andrew. We talked about this last week, but it's worth mentioning again. Predator 2 with Danny
Oh,
Glover.
I love that fucking
and,
movie. That movie's awesome.
Gary Busey, right? Not
Yeah.
Nick Nolte.
How are you
That's
gonna
Gary
go?
Busey.
Yeah, it's Busey.
I always.
Buse train.
Speaking of Anthony Perkins, we got Psycho 4, The Beginning, that came out in 1990. I didn't need anything about The Beginning. I was satisfied with Psycho, directed by.
I think I've really only seen the first one.
Psycho 2 is good.
I don't know if I've seen.
Never seen Psycho 2. Yeah, I don't think
I own all four of them. I've only seen the first three. I haven't watched Psycho 4.
Okay,
let's do it.
I guess I have to now.
Yeah, right. What?
Dude, that's why it's nice just having a library of movies.
Because you can just be like, oh, I haven't watched this.
You do have a very impressive collection, I will say.
Oh, it's growing.
We also got the Tales from the Dark Side movie in 1990.
I love that
which,
movie.
that's a banger. That
Great
definitely
monster,
is in there. Tremors, obviously, we talked about that last week. If you haven't heard our thoughts about Tremors, go back 1 week, rewind, and listen to what we had to say about that. And also the most memed and YouTubed scene from a movie of all time in 1990. We got Troll 2. They're going to eat
Jesus
me.
Christ.
Oh my God.
That might be the number one banger of that year.
I mean, right. I mean, not the banger, but I mean,
No,
just
but one of the most
ridiculous
memorable
movie of
movies
all
that's
time.
ever been.
I
Honestly,
feel like there's like a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Dude, that's
movie
like the
that was
Room
out, too.
or whatever that is. The Tony,
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
the
yeah.
Room. Yeah, that
The
fucking
movie that
That's
James Franco.
Oh,
guy.
yeah, The Room with Mark
Yes.
Wisen, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, whatever his fucking name is.
All right. We've been carrying on for quite a while here, gentlemen. Is there and lady? Is there anything else that we want to talk about regarding Nightbreed?
There's also Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Oh, I'm sorry,
which
I
is
forgot
not
to
a
include
bad
that.
one.
All right.
In there is did Dead Alive come out in 1990?
If indeed,
It might be
I missed it.
92.
and if
Yeah,
so,
it's
I
92.
apologize.
It's 92.
All right.
I'm just looking to see. Every once in a while, I'm like, you know what? I feel like there's something I'm fucking missing here.
What am I missing?
I feel like there was like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie that wasn't good. New Nightmare was what, 94?
That was 94. Yeah.
That was the year I was Bizorn.
Oh,
Yeah, it's gonna be
shit. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's it?
Mhm. At least worth mentioning, yeah.
Andrew, I mean, this was your movie. Is there anything else you want to say about Nightbreed before we sign off on this topic?
If you like a weird monster movie, a little bit of fantasy mixed with serial killers,
A little bit of boobs.
mixed with some boobs and some sweet guitar playing for like 2 minutes with like an actual song playing. I feel like it's a very underrated movie that a lot of people haven't seen. They need to see it because you may love it, you may hate it, but you'll be entertained one way or the other. Watch
Got a
this
little
movie.
something for everybody.
It's entertaining. Doesn't matter. And it's just so good.
This movie's got to be
Good.
huge in
I
the
fucking love this
furries
movie.
community.
Furries.
Yeah. The cosplayers probably love this movie.
Oh my god.
Hey, you want to dress as a
Furries.
berserker and
The
pound
furry
me out?
community.
And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm gonna berserk.
I'm calling the cops.
I'm gonna berserk on your ass.
Yeah.
Right.
Guys, have we understated how good David Cronenberg actually is in this role? Because I think he might be the most surprising and maybe one of the best parts.
He's the best part of the movie.
He's
my
very
favorite.
just like cold.
Yeah.
Like even when he was like as a therapist, you're like, this guy sucks. Dude.
Yeah.
So he fools everybody.
Yeah. It's just like he's a piece of shit. Like
He's
obviously he's the
framing
killer, but
Aaron
it's like,
Boone.
it's
Like,
dude,
I mean, if you're
like-
gonna frame
and-
someone, you should frame Aaron.
And
Boone.
Andrew's right. The mask is, I think, one of the best.
I love it. The button eyes and the zipper
Yeah,
mouth.
it's
That's
very,
just
very
a little
creepy.
off to his side.
little
Yeah.
butthole mouth. Yeah.
Interesting stuff. But yeah, I just thought he was like it was always cool seeing him as a director, but like acting.
He's a phenomenal
that's
actor.
the best part he's ever had.
Well, that's why I asked Sarah. I was like, she was like, that guy immediately. She's like, that guy's the killer. And I
He
was
has
like,
that vibe
pipe
for
down.
sure.
And then
Yeah.
I was like, you know that's one of the greatest horror directors of all time. And she was like, I don't care.
No, I didn't know that.
To be fair, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair.
All right, cool. Anything else? Parting thoughts on Nightbreed? Anyone? Kat, Matt, good.
No, that'll
I
be-
really liked it. And I was for an Andrew movie, I'm gonna say not bad.
Beats the shit
For
out
an
of Butcher
Andrew
Baker
movie, not
Nightmare.
The fuck does that mean?
It was a very
To
Andrew
be fair,
movie.
when I talk about
I
Cab, it was
really
like-
I
liked
think
it.
if I had to,
really-
interpret, if I had to,
sounds like a
I think it
Interpret Kat.
sounds like a
sounds like
compliment.
she had low expectations. and was
Yes.
pleasantly
Yeah.
surprised.
Yes.
This is what I.
I just remembered it being
Always.
like a cheesy, like
It's so cheesy.
monster movie, but it was like Frighteners. Like you have like this like allegiance of like friendly monsters.
I don't feel like that's a bad thing for this movie, though. I feel like it really works in its
Yeah.
favor. The fact
Yeah.
that it's like
Frighteners
actually
had what,
not
Michael J.
taking
Fox?
itself like too
Yeah.
seriously.
No, it's
It
a
works
weird.
perfectly.
It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Or the Spookies. That's another one to compare to this. That's a deep cut '80s movie.
Oh,
but
Spookies. It's like those
Yeah.
little weird guys.
never seen that.
It's like a whole conglomerate of monsters. And
monsters,
ghouls.
like
yeah,
it's like the 7-Up guy. There's
Yeah.
just a bunch
It's like
of
a haunted house.
weird buttons just
Yeah.
hanging out.
but there's like monsters and ghouls.
I like that too.
You sound
Who
like
doesn't like
Charlie from
monsters?
Always Sunny. What do you like?
They are literally they're ghouls.
All right, we done? We good?
We're good.
All right, let's put a bow on this bitch. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. Certainly appreciate you checking back in with us. My name is Mike. I've been your host, and I've been joined by our friends, Andrew, Kat, and Matt. Lady, gentlemen, say goodbye to your audience.
Bye.
Adios, muchachos.
Good evening. And
See you
just
in
a
hell.
reminder that wherever you're listening to us right now, you can hear us again next week, but you can also find us on Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. Stitcher is going away. Spreaker, wherever else you may find your podcast. So please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review if you really like this show. Good evening.
I'm never gonna let you go, Mike.
I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling.
Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up.
Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you.
Seems like water for all that. Seconds.
Peace.
Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and I want to say thanks again for listening to another episode of our show. If you're interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I'd highly recommend you check out the shows from our friends over on the Inebriart Podcast Network. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find shows from Inebriart, the Old Colony Cast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, and Retro Redoctopus, so head on over and give them a listen.